Okay, everybody, welcome to the MORE Listings Mastermind, a real estate podcast. We meet every single week. It's a weekly mastermind, so I encourage you to jump on each and every week. It's power, growth, and momentum. It all starts with this week's MORE Listings Mastermind. My name is Robert Weichelt. I'm the host of the MORE Listings Mastermind, and we're going to go ahead and get started. I appreciate you jumping on, whether you're listening to it on YouTube or Spotify podcast or you're live with us today. So I always like to start off with a motivational quote, and it's one I use quite frequently. It's one I love this quote. The only place success comes before work is in the dictionary. Now you'll see me bring that up quite a bit and use this quote often because I think it's a constant, serves as a reminder. It's important to know we need to put in the work. Sure, we want to work smart, but we also want to work really focus in on what we're doing, and that is taking more listings. So with that said, my name is Robert Weichelt. I'm the host of the MORE Listings Mastermind. Since 1986, I've had the privilege of helping thousands of countless agents achieve success in everything. I mean, the ups, the downs, and the all-arounds. 1986, so it'll be 40 years this coming February for those keeping score at home. Wow, that's a long time. As a broker, trainer, mentor, my mission is simple. I want to empower others to grow, win, and lead with purpose. We help agents that want to take listings today, now listings, FSBOs, expireds, pre-foreclosure, sellers with their hands up. We also want to position ourselves for the distressed property market that, unfortunately, I feel very confident that will be here sooner than you know it. So when you're working with the pre-foreclosures, we're positioning ourselves to work with the post-foreclosure market. So keep that in mind. Now, 5 habits. I always like to cover the same things each week before we get started with our session. These 5 habits will help you grow your real estate business starting today. Number 1, lead generation. There should be no exceptions. You should block out 90 minutes each and every week to focus prospecting. You need to really focus in on prospecting. Don't be going to take the dog out and going to walk around the block in between prospecting. Focus on it and get it done. Number 2, track and measure your numbers. What gets measured gets improved. We need to track and measure our successes, how many contacts we're making, how many leads we've generated, and we need to make sure we're tracking and measuring so we know what is actually working. Number 3, set appointments daily. A day without a seller or buyer appointment is a red flag in your business. So listen to that. Number 4, follow up like a pro. You've heard this multiple times. The fortune is in the follow-up. 80% of conversions happen in the follow-up. So we need to make sure we have a system, your CRM, you have a system that you're following up with these clients. And number 5, sharpen your skills. Role play. Study scripts, watch top agent content, tune into the MORE Listings Mastermind each week. Review objections. You know the best way to review objections is to actually make contacts with sellers and let them give you their objections. That's the best way to learn. And you know what? The quote that I like to say when it's 5 habits, do something today that your future self will thank you for. I'm a big quote guy. I love being fired up. I love being motivated because when I'm telling you what, when you're prospecting, we don't always feel at the top of our game. So we need to constantly remind ourselves, get in the mindset and make things happen. You know what's funny is the folks on the other line, whether you're calling them or even texting them, they can feel if you're not 100%. You know that. I always say smile and smile, right? Now, who are you going to call? I have arranged an amazing 14-day free trial with My Plus Leads. That's who I use. There's a lot of different companies out there. This is who has shown me the easiest way to get a hold of FSBOs. Owners that are already trying to sell, they have their hands up. Hired, canceled, they still want to sell. And most of them didn't sell because of price. Most of the time, the agents didn't have that real truthful conversation with them about the price. So it expired. So you'll see a lot of expires. There was 111 expireds in San Diego County on December 1st. That's a lot of expireds, a lot of folks wanting to sell, but not quite achieving their goals. So FSBOs, expired, and that includes canceled, and pre-foreclosures. That's what I recommend first. Jump in. Carla will put together in the chat box, she'll leave you a link that you can sign up for 14 days for free. And I only want to give you this one word of caution. Don't sign up with it unless you're ready to get prospecting. Because if you sign up for it, those 14 days will go by quick. So keep that in mind. Here's another tool I want to introduce you to before we get started with our program today. You have the tools you need. You have a cash offers platform. 87% of the sellers out there want a cash offer until they see it. But we want to be able to provide that tool, show them what a cash offer is, and then how you're going to get them even more. Because I've never met a seller that said, Robert, I want the least amount of money for my home, right? So you want to attract, engage, and convert sellers fast. Check it out, 14 days for free, ilistusa.com. Carla dropped the link in the chat box. Now, the way I do my business, and we can talk about that. I have a bonus session at the end here, and we'll go after our special guest to show you how to drive massive traffic to your open houses. For example, 14 days on the market, we had 8,900 views to the property with 789 saves. The views are great. The saves equate to open house traffic. And that is what you want to do. Your listing deserves the most amount of eyes to get the most amount of offers. Here's an example of one of our properties. We're averaging between 200 and 400 groups through the doors. You got to ask yourself, is that the kind of open house you want? I think it is. Now, you want to make sure your business is efficient and effective as possible. I do all of my listing appointments via Zoom. Carla and I just got finished with a 2-year RV trip around the country, and we were taking listings from the RV everywhere in the country. Multiple times I pulled over in truck stops, brought out the Starlink, and started taking listings literally from that time. And then as soon as the listing was taken, I'd bring that Starlink in and we'd keep on trucking. So it was fantastic. This picture on the left is in Cabo. 4 listings from the beach in Cabo. The only thing you don't see in that photo is a Corona. It was right around that laptop. You can take it from the boat. You can take it, of course, from the RV, like I mentioned, from in Hawaii. You get my point. Be efficient and effective with your business. The only way to go. It works for sellers, but it also works for buyers. Have buyer consultations done via Zoom. It's very effective. Now, if you want to reach out to me, I encourage you to do. Don't just survive in real estate, guys. Thrive. Book a 30-minute strategy session. Use the QR code. It goes right to my calendar. And let's take a look into the hood. Find out what's going on in your business. Sound good? Okay, I'll leave it up for just one more second. Okay, here we go. Super excited. This is, we have great guests every week. Great guests. This week is no exception. I'm telling you what, you're going to learn a lot of good stuff. I've got energy coming your way. Remember, we meet every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. You can go join us live at MOREListings.com. Today's topic, reconnect, deliver, and dominate. 2 special guests today. Our first special guest that'll come up and talk to you is Woo Kim, founder of LinkMe and a national speaker. This guy is a beast. So get your pen and paper out, guys. Let's go old school. Let's take some really good notes, and we'll do a Q&A at the end. But I can tell you this, I'm super excited to introduce you to my good friend, Woo Kim. Woo, how are you, buddy?
Good morning, everybody. Robert, thanks for having me.
You know what's funny? I when I was putting the marketing together, I can't help but go, woo, woo! Your name fires me up. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. Woo, you go ahead and take it over. I know you've got a lot of great stuff to share with everyone today. So let me stop sharing the screen and you take it over, my friend. Take it away. Tell everybody who you are
Let's
first.
do it. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Woo, and you can call me Woohoo without the who. And what I do is I help real estate professionals show up like a professional they are online. But why is this important anyways? Well, your online presence is your online image. When you go out and prospect, whether you're door knocking, you're cold calling, you're sending mailers, you meet somebody at an open house, they don't trust you, they don't know you. You just call them. And the natural next step they will take is they're going to go to Google and look you up. If your name is John Smith, they're going to Google John Smith Realtor. Or even better, they'll ask ChatGPT about you. And based on what you see or what they see about your online presence will ultimately determine if you're going to get a job, if you're going to get the deal. And so share a quick story, 1 minute. I was working with an agent. She's in Big Bear, like Spring Valley, like Hesperia area. And she had three listing opportunities. There was a brand new community build that the builders just finished. And she was one of the agents who had three listing opportunities. A couple years back, she responded to some random guy's post, and he posted a bunch of guns, and she commented on that video, "Ooh, scary." And that guy who posted the gun video made a video about her, telling her how she hates the veterans and just said nasty, nasty stuff about her. And when those listers, those sellers, went up to go Google her name, they found those videos the other guy made about her, how she doesn't support veterans, and she unfortunately lost all three of those listings. And she asked them too. She called them and they were like, "Well, Googled you, and it looked like you don't support the veterans." And so, if you have an online presence, whether it's good and bad, people will find out. They are already Googling your name. And my job today is to show you how you can elevate your online presence. And right before I share anything else, I highly recommend that you get in a habit of Googling or asking AI about you, because 90% of potential clients Google your name before reaching out to you. So super important that you stay on top of what's being displayed online of you. So if those of you that are watching this on the podcast, YouTube, or those of you that are joining us live, I highly recommend that you Google your name, your first name, last name, realtor. If you're a lender, put lender. If you're a title, put title. First name, last name, your title, and see what pops up. For the sake of time, I'm going to skip this slide, but highly recommend that you get in the habit of Googling yourself. And the three biggest things that I want to highlight when it comes to your online presence are these. Number one, Google visibility. If people search you, let's just say your name is John Smith, and I searched John Smith Realtor, can they even find you? Or is there another agent with the same name from a different brokerage or different company? It happens all the time. So that's number one, Google visibility. Can people find you? Next, social proof. In 5 seconds or less, consumers decide if you're legit. And the fastest way to show people that you're a legitimate agent, you're a high trustworthy agent, is by having a lot of reviews, not just on one platform, but across multiple platforms. I recommend getting reviews on Google, Zillow, Realtor.com, and Facebook. That's number two, social proof. Last thing is branding. When people look at different platforms that you're on, for example, your Instagram, your website, your Google, and your Facebook, check to see if you look like the same person on each platform. So many times, this is what agents do. They have a different picture and different branding and different messaging everywhere. So on Instagram, they have a picture with their husband and they say they're a real estate agent in California. And on Facebook, they have a picture with their dog and they say they're with Keller Williams. On their website, they have a picture that they took 10 years ago and it says nothing about their market. And so make sure your branding, your messaging, and your headshot is exactly the same everywhere. With that, I'm going to share a quick comparison of what a great Google presence looks like and what a bad Google presence looks like. Starting with the bad. For those of you who can't see my screen, I'll verbally explain what's going on. I Googled an agent by the name of Joyce Blank Realtor. I blocked out her last name in order to protect her identity. When I Google Joyce, we see three links: Realtor.com, her LinkedIn, and some US phone books website that has nothing to do with real estate. To your eyes, there is no reviews that I see. I don't see a picture of her. I don't see her phone number. And the only source of information as to what market she's in is in her LinkedIn, San Francisco Bay Area. This does not build trust in 5 seconds. Now, let me show you an example of what a great online presence looks like, specifically for Google. This is Naim, one of our clients. When we Google Naim Olachea Realtor, we immediately see reviews everywhere. On his Google page, he has 87 5-star. On Zillow, 25 5-star. On Realtor.com, 13 5-stars. On Yelp, he has 4 5-star reviews. So the goal is this. Clients or consumers who Google his name don't need to do a deep dive and research you. Why? Because you're almost overwhelming them with the number of reviews you have. And that builds trust in 5 seconds. That is the goal. So if I were to ask you, you got two agents referred to you. The first agent you look up or Google looks like Joyce, who has no reviews, no website, no Google page, no picture. And the second agent you Google has hundreds of reviews, has his own website, has a solid and verified Google page. If I ask you which agent would you feel more comfortable calling, 99 times out of 100, people say they will call Naeem because he looks more legit. The craziest part, Joyce might have sold more homes. Joyce might have more number of experience. Joyce may well be a better agent. But because she doesn't look like that, her brand does not reflect the level of professionalism that she carries on, people assume she's not professional or she's not trustworthy. So in 5 seconds, a consumer decides if you're legit. So for those, everybody watching this, I want to show you a quick real life example of what happens when you don't have your online presence dialed in. I recently worked with an agent. Her name's Tina. When I Googled Tina's name, her name's Tina Wang, I saw this. We see a Keller Williams website, we see a Realtor.com, and we see Compass Real Estate website, and we see a Google verification on the right-hand side. The problem with this is the Tina that came to me is not this Tina that shows up on Google. This Tina that we're looking at right now was with Compass. The Tina that came to me is with Keller Williams. And so this is an example of when people cannot find you on Google. When clients were Googling Tina, they were seeing another agent that showed up before her. Tough way to grow your business. And so we ended up working with her and we made sure she shows up first. Our Tina's Google page shows up first now. Our Tina's website shows up first now. And our Tina's Realtor.com shows up first now. Tina with Compass is mad, but Tina with Keller Williams is a friend of mine, so I'm happy for her. That's an example of what happens when people can't find you. Here's an example of what happens when you don't look established. This is Maria Polito, great client of ours. When we worked with her, I took a look at her online stuff, and I found out her website looked generic, basic, and it didn't represent her as a luxury, high-end real estate agent. After working with her, we made her look like this. She always wanted to get into the luxury market. And in order to get into the luxury market, you have to appeal to the high-end clients. And the number one way to appeal to the high-end clients is making yourself look like a business that's worth doing business with. That's exactly what we did here. We did a refresh on our website, completely changed our branding in order to reflect the luxury real estate market. I'll show you one more. This is a husband and wife team, Team Already. When they came to me, they had a site like this, generic, basic, nothing too special. In this digital age, it's super important that you incorporate videos as much as possible. So this is what their online presence looks now. Incorporating videos of them walking, them talking to clients, them interacting, always using videos to pull people in. If something is static in this digital age, people don't stay. You want to make sure you have something dynamic, specifically a video, so you can immediately pull people in. And I'll leave you guys with this, is that when we look at a typical real estate agent that's a producing agent, the number of Google searches that they get under their name, in other words, if your name is John Smith, how many people search John Smith Realtor? We found out the average number is 7. In other words, on average, 7 people per month search an agent's name as long as they're a producing agent. But what happens is, if one of the 7 people that search your name clicks away to another agent because number 1, they couldn't find you, like Tina, or number 2, you didn't look established, like Maria, you just lost that listing without even realizing, and that's what's scary. You just won't never know. And so to help you fix it, if you don't look legit online, you lose business quietly. And everybody watching this right now, this is how I'm going to help you. Everybody watching this, we're going to give you a complimentary brand analysis. That means my team and I will take a look at your entire online presence front to back, your Google, your site, your social media, and your branding. Take screenshots and tell you what's working and what's not working and what you need to fix in order to elevate your online presence. Everybody watching this is going to get it. I'll share the link with Robert. Quick heads up. The work that we do for real estate agents is not cheap. And the reason for that is because what we're doing here is we're building a brand that represents you for the next decade. So typically speaking, when agents do decide to work with us, our brand projects typically range from 3,500 to 6,500. I want to be upfront. I want no surprises for you. And if what I said today at all resonated with you, you can get your complimentary brand analysis by scanning this QR code, or I'll send out a link to Robert, which you guys can click on and request your brand analysis there. I hope that was helpful. The last thing, if you don't remember anything I said, just remember to regularly Google yourself and even ask ChatGPT or Gemini or Grok about you and ask, what do I need to do in order to elevate my online presence? That's a great way to start. With that said, guys, thanks for having me. My name's Wu Kim with Link Me. Let's rock and roll.
Oh man, I love it, man. Thanks so much for being on. Little virtual clap. Woo! Hey, so let's do this. Let's open it up to some questions. I know I saw some in the chat box. Who would like to ask Wu the first question? As everybody starts looking for their mute button.
Hey, Woo.
Go
Hey,
ahead, Lawrence. What do you got, brother?
so Woo, I was just thinking when you say they show multiple locations of reviews, majority of the time when you're asking a client for a review, it's like it's either Google, Zillow, it's one of the two. Like how are you guys getting like if I have a client that just gave me a review on Google, how are you guys getting those reviews taken from Google over to like the other platforms?
Great question, Lawrence. And that's a common question that I get asked. And I wish I can give you a sexy answer. However, there is none. The only way to get reviews on Google and on Zillow, Realtor.com, you can copy and paste, but people don't trust Realtor.com as much. The two most popular platforms are Zillow, Google, oh, and third, Yelp. In order to get a review there, the client has to send the review, sign in, and send you the review. And so the strategy that I recommend is getting a list of anyone and everyone who can make a comment about your work ethic or character. If you look at an agent with 800 reviews, they're not all from his past clients. They're their friends, their fellow agents, their broker, their lender, their title guy, their stager, their plumber. Anyone who can make a comment about your work ethic should absolutely write your review. In exchange, with an exception of Zillow. With Zillow, they have to either have bought a house with you or sold a house with you.
That's huge. Huge, Lawrence. Thank you for your question. Anything else before Wu gets off to his another appointment? He's literally in an office where he's going to present his services. Go ahead, Mike. Do you have a question?
Yeah. Hey, Robert. Thanks for having the meeting today. Hey, well, I've got two questions. I've been on the sideline for a little bit, but prior to that, I was very active. I've got sheets of testimonies and reviews, but they're on like a Word document. They're not up on electronic. I've got some on Yelp and a few on Google. Is there any way to put those older reviews that are currently on paper in a Word format on an active website or platform?
But absolutely, you can scan
Oh, good.
your paper, like written reviews, scan them using Adobe or even ChatGPT, and you can absolutely put them on your website. The
Oh,
only
great.
limitation to that, yeah, so that's good news, number one. The only limitation to that is you won't be able to put those reviews on Google or Zillow or Yelp. It would have to
Hmm.
have come from the customers themselves. So my recommendation is reaching out to those people who wrote you a review, who've written your review
Uh-huh.
in paper, and tell them, hey, here's a $5 gift card. Would you mind just saying the same thing you said here? Just transfer, like say this in Google and say the same reviews on Google and post it for me. And I'll give you a small reward, Starbucks gift card. That alone skyrockets the engagement rate and response rate.
Okay, good, good. And then my second quick question was on the payment on the plans that you offer. Can those be done in installment or it's like a payment plan?
Thanks. That's a great question, Mike. And the short answer is a yes. We don't want to assume anybody's financial situation. I'll be happy to chat with you more in private. And so book a call with me, Mike, and we'll chat in private.
Awesome. Awesome.
Sounds good.
Mike, thanks for asking those questions. Lawrence, thank you so much. Any other questions before we let Wu get back to his presentation that literally starts in just a few minutes? All right. Okay. Well, good. Wu. Thank you. Woo, woo. What a great presentation. And you did great. We've got don't forget about Tim Yates. He's coming up next. But Wu, I want to thank you so much. And please let me know if there's anything we can help you with. We appreciate you very much. Thank you, brother.
Robert, thank you everybody for listening in, and have a powerful rest of your Wednesday. Talk to you guys later.
Right. All right. Well, let's go back to the next guest we have on the MORE Listings Mastermind. My good friend, somebody I've known for quite some time. We've been collaborating on legacy and listings, and it's a nice little tool we're providing our database. Tim's going to go into it a little bit. Really dive in that. My biggest thing I like to bring up, and I don't want to steal Tim's thunder, but the number that just blows my mind is 9 out of 10 consumers do not have a living trust. That number's staggering, and here's why. You get a chance to reach out to your database and talk to them, and 9 out of 10 of them do not have what you're calling them about. It's a big deal. It's another reason to step up, talk to your database, and really make things happen. So with that said, Tim, I want to bring you on, and let's talk a little bit about your MyLegacyLink, my friend. Tell everybody who you are and tell them what you're talking about today.
Well, you stole my whole presentation. I got nothing else to say now. It's just, hey, 9 out of 10. All right, I'm done. I'm out of here. No.
Well, I'm glad I could help.
No, man, I appreciate you, dude. I love talking to people about this because it's something that the awareness level is it just boggles my mind. If people sat with me and looked at the court calendars that I look at for probate cases throughout California and all 58 counties, and we see how backlogged the probate cases are, it's a shocking thing. It's 9 out of 10 people do not have a living trust. And when my wife and I, so we founded an estate planning firm almost a decade ago. We're actually more of a technology firm now. I mean, that's really where we've come, but we're still old school. We love relationships. That's what it's all about. But we wanted to start a different type of firm, which is led by my wife, Carrie, who's our firm's lead attorney. And, we love to work closely with real estate professionals. A lot of times people say, why don't you just work direct to consumer? Well, the reality of it is that I love working with real estate professionals because they are really in the front lines of estate planning. The buying and selling of real estate, has to be a part of the estate planning process. Real estate professionals have a seat at the table of the homeowners. So it's a great way for us to work together to create more value for both of our businesses. We have shown that with our legacy listing systems, we can help agents get more listings, and in turn, we get more trusts. And so it's a perfect situation, One of the reasons why, though, I get this question all the time, Tim, why don't more people have a trust? Well, a couple things. Number one, they don't understand why they even need one. So we work with our real estate partners on educating the public on why they need a trust. And then once they understand that, then it becomes a no-brainer. But two, it's also the price points. Traditionally an estate plan is thousands and thousands of dollars. I believe, Robert, you paid a lot of money for yours years ago. And so we just wanted to take price out of the equation, make it affordable for everybody. So in most cases, we don't charge thousands and thousands of dollars. In most cases, we charge less than $1,000. We charge hundreds and hundreds of dollars, not thousands and thousands of dollars. So we've made it affordable. And so, we wanted to create a system that's easy for us to plug into other real estate professionals' existing businesses without them having to reinvent the wheel or try to, sell estate plans. It's a perfect, relationship. And when we talk about relationships specifically with real estate and homeowners, it doesn't just stop at at estate plans, Robert. We work with clients with family law, postnuptial agreements, prenuptial agreements. We do LLC formations. We do a lot of deed work. That's one thing that's really important. When I say deed work, it's changing the deeds of people's homes. The grant deeds. I want to add my son, or I want to remove my daughter. I want to remove my ex. I want to, So all that stuff is a legal process, and we have a lot of title companies that come direct to us to service needs of clients. And so if you're in real estate, it's another great reason to reach out and talk to people about if there's ever a situation where they need to make a change to their deed. And there's a lot of reasons why people do that often. We can offer that service at a price point that no one else can, and we make that real estate partner look like a rock star.
And you know what, Tim, you mentioned a couple of things that yes, I paid way too much for my trust many, many, many moons ago. But the biggest thing is, and we talk about this on Tuesdays, is that agents are always looking for great ways to follow up with their database. This is an amazing way to reach out, because the numbers that you mentioned and I mentioned before that, 9 out of 10 do not have a living trust, something that's protecting their assets. You as an agent should always be in the forefront of helping your clients understand how important that is. And the cost is very, very attractive. I think it's better than a gift basket or a $500 gift card from Home Depot. I can tell you that. But the biggest thing that I like is it's a constant reminder. Anytime they're changing anything in their trust or thinking about buying new real estate, selling real estate, doing anything, a lot of time the trust comes into play. You're triggered, you're notified, and it's another way for you to follow up with that database. So I think it's invaluable keeping up with your database and always providing value. One last thing I want to mention about what you're doing with I Dig is I think it's important that all agents have that go-to guy mentality, go-to guy or gal, right?
Yep.
If anybody they want to paint their fence or put up a new fence or put in a pool or do a roof or do anything, an easement comes up, they want to get a copy of it, they want to, anything that comes up, you should be that phone call your client makes. If you remind them of that one phone call that you need to make, you're better off. Because so many times, if somebody goes outside and works with somebody else, they're going to refer them to somebody else. But I think it's important for us agents to tap in, and this is a perfect way to stay in touch with your clients, especially during the holidays. Tim, what else did you like to add before we keep moving?
Really, it's just about, our firm is built a model around one thing, and that's helping real estate professionals create uncontested market space in their industry. It is, and that's, I'll tell you what, that's the biggest challenge everyone has is how do I outcompete my competition, and what's it all about? So we created value tools that no one else is providing, and that's really what it's all about.
I love it. Well, go to the QR code. This goes right to your form, and just give the audience, how much does it cost to get started with your class?
It's free.
I like that price. It's free to get trained, so you know how to speak to your clients, and they can refer you the opportunity. There's also rev stream income opportunities. There's a lot of great tools that you have to offer. I encourage you to reach out to Tim, click his QR code, get that form filled out. I've got a lot of agents in my organization that are doing that very same thing, and it's really another tool in your tool belt. So, Tim, thank you so much for being on. It's been a great session. One thing I want to also thank everybody that has been on, and we're going to go ahead and end today's session. Thank you so much, Wu, for jumping on. Thank you so much, Tim, for always adding huge value. Thank you, everybody that jumped on live, in studio, I like to call it. Thank you, everybody that's listening on the YouTube channel, and thank you, everyone from Spotify. We've got, my daughter does our Spotify, and she does such an amazing job. And so we're so blessed for her. She moved to Kentucky, her and her husband. And so I just email it over to her when we're done, and she puts the Spotify together for the podcast. She's all, Dad, the Spotify is legal drinking age now. So we have 21 episodes that we've recorded. So I encourage you to reach out, listen to them all. We've had great guests over the year. And as we're finishing up 2025, I want to wish everybody an amazing last month of the year. Stay focused, do what you need to do to make things happen, and tune in each week, each Wednesday, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, to the MORE Listings Mastermind. I want to thank our special guests for jumping on today, Woo Kim and Tim Yates. Thank you so much for always adding value. And we'll go ahead and say goodbye today, but it's not goodbye forever. We'll see you next Wednesday, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, the MORE Listings Mastermind. Thank you for tuning in, guys. And remember, we'll see you in escrow.